Guten Tag. This is episode 2, 2026. We're talking about Microsoft Fabric Real-Time Intelligence, and this is Subscribe. Hey, thank you for tuning in. As I promised, I'm going to restart the Subscribe blog. So this is the first regular episode, and the first few episodes I'm going to be talking about products that we all work on. Then I will talk about some open source projects and standards to kind of level set so that you know all the things that are going to be topics here. And then from there on, I'm going to be kind of diving into particular elements, but I can go and refer back to these episodes if you're not familiar with the context. So that's kind of building a library in the first few episodes. The first thing I want to talk about is Fabric Real-Time Intelligence with a very brief 10-minute overview over a very, very rich platform that we're all putting together. Customers tell us, and we see it all the time, that they're building what we can go and summarize as digital feedback loop. Basically, you capture data, you capture information from your devices, from your customers, from their cameras, whatever the sources are, mobile apps, and then you do something with it. You kind of derive all sorts of insights from that data, and once you've derived the insights from that data, you hopefully are able to go and act on it and improve something. And this cycle gets faster and faster. People want to have more actions. They want to be able to go and act on things in real time. Building these real-time systems is ultra difficult because there is a lot of tooling, and that tooling requires integration. And while that's reasonably within the reach of a good developer, you need developers. And having developers means lots of cost to go and get at your data in real time. So real-time pipelines tend to be the most expensive pipelines you can go and build because the skill level that you need to run this infrastructure, to plug it together, is pretty high, even with harmonized tools as, for instance, you get into in Azure or AWS or Google. Even that requires that you have developers. So that makes it difficult. So because we want to enable customers to get at their data in real time, and real time meaning quick, within reasonable time that they can go and make decisions as quick as they want. So not the industrial real time where everything kind of happens in a very predictable time, but what we really mean with real time is in the speed of the business. We want to build one unified solution where it's really easy for a data analyst, where it's ultimately easy for people in the business to go and work with that real-time data, with complex, rich data of which you get a lot. Microsoft Fabric overall is the integration of all the Microsoft services, all the Microsoft tools that have to do with data, including real-time data. And real-time intelligence is kind of one of those pillars in it. So there's Data Factory to manage data analytics, the analytics pillar, where you can go and work with workbooks, etc. There's the various databases that we have. There's Power BI, which many are familiar with. And then real-time intelligence is really the piece that we're talking about here. Real-time intelligence is not brand new, which is good. It's built on top of all the pieces that we already have. It's built in Event Hubs, Event Grid, Stream Analytics, Data Explorer, Azure Maps, all services which are battle hardened and which are in production. Event Hubs processing many trillions of events per day. Combine that with Power BI, which is beloved and used by millions of people every day. And with the tools that we have through Copilot, put this all together, that becomes real-time intelligence. It's an application that we built on top of the platform we own and build ourselves. So it's an app. It has opinion, and that opinion is good because that opinion helps us integrate those things better. We built this on top of the base. I already said many trillions of transactions We have a solid foundation for all these things, and we're layering effectively that application, Fabric real-time intelligence, on top of it. To get data into real-time intelligence, how to acquire real-time data. First, we have compatible protocol endpoints. You can go and send, if you know how to send to Kafka, you can know how to send to an event stream. If you know how to send to an Event Hub or AMQP endpoint, you can send to Event Hub. If you know how to publish messages to HTTP, you can also send to Event Hubs or to event streams. And if you don't have any of those capabilities, you might have a database. We have CDC adapters where we can go and harvest changes, and many more adapters. Many of those are listed here as available now, or the ones that are upcoming. Those adapters then kind of feed the pipeline. We have streaming capabilities, we have analytics capabilities, we have modeling capabilities, visualization, and then decision and action capabilities. And because it's easier to go and look at them in context, here is a view of it. So we're starting in the real-time hub. The real-time hub is basically your catalog of all the existing sources. If you have existing sources in view from Azure, for instance, you can go and get them directly from the real-time hub. But then here's the list of all the various connectors that we have, scrolling back down and looking at them. We're going to pick here the Azure SQL CDC one. You have a way to go and create new connections, and go and configure them. And then you go and pick one of those connections. You can go and then also associate the schemas, which means we're going to harvest schemas from the CDC source, and we're going to go and propagate them through. Now we're setting up an Apache Kafka connector as a source, and we're associating that with an event stream. So that's all very easy to go and set up. So this is the surface area of the event stream, shows you where the data comes from, lets you sample and look at the data, and also lets you go and monitor the data flow, and then you can go and connect the outputs to, for instance, a database that we're looking at here. So you see in the case where we have data harvested from the database, we're kind of automatically propagating this through. You don't have to go and create the schema. We actually create that for you. And you can go and take a look at this. Then you can obviously also use write your own queries in the KQL language. The KQL language is something that you may be familiar from in Azure Monitor. But if you don't want to write your own queries, if you don't know how to write your own queries, you can ask Copilot. So you can ask Copilot a question, as we do here, and then it will go and look at the schemas. It will then go and produce a query, and that query will then, in this case here, even produce directly a graph as an insight over your data. If you like that language, if you like KQL, if you like those capabilities, but you have the data in Data Lake, you can actually attach the KQL engine to the Data Lake. So the real-time intelligence kind of also has its tentacles into the lake-bound data. So you can overlay an event house endpoint over it, and that gives you now the same and harmonized capabilities. And you can go and mix and match. You can have data in the KQL database, you can have data in the lake, and you can go and put those together, reference data, for instance, in the lake, and then the real-time data in here. And again, it can go and reason over the schemas, and they can go and give you the queries. Now, if you have this query here, and then you want to be notified if something changes, so if something noteworthy happens with your data, you can do that by pushing that little lightning bolt in the side, as we just did. And then we can go and basically formulate a condition on top of that query. And here we're going to go and say, when the count of flights becomes greater or equal to 775, then we want to get an email or so, or we can go and run a Fabric item. We can go and trigger something inside of Fabric. We can go and trigger a notebook, and we also can go and trigger a Power Automate workflow. So this allows you to go and look at the data, evaluate it, and then very simply with a query, do an analysis, further analysis over that query, and then go and trigger some actions. So we have this platform, the pieces of it as connectors we talked about event streams. We talked about event schema set. We're going to talk about a lot in the coming episodes. And you saw that kind of propagation of data from SQL CDC over into the database. We've seen Event House. The anomaly detector is a way to select the anomaly detection algorithm over your data streams and then go and execute it. So a combination, if you will, of the activator capabilities that you just saw and the warehouse, the data Event House capabilities. We have maps, Azure Maps. We have graphs. We have Digital Twin Builder or ontologies, which allows you to go and reason about data from different sources. Kiko query sets. We have real-time dashboards for visualization, and of course also Power BI and Activator, as you've seen. And we have an operations agent that we're building, which is effectively driven by AI logic to go and do acting. So that was a quick overview, 10 minutes of real-time intelligence. And that was it for today. So thank you for tuning in, and looking forward to seeing you again in the next episode.